Yeah. Hello, everyone. How are you? It's the third day of conference. So yeah, people who survive third day. Yeah, nice to see your like energetic faces. Yeah, and happy to give a talk for you. Today, I'm going to talk with you about cross-platform, or I would say multi-platform development with Flutter and Firebase, like double F. But yeah, before we started, uh, before we started, a couple of words about who am I. My name is Sasha Denisov. I'm a Google developer expert in Flutter, Dart, and Firebase. I work for EPAM Systems, and I'm from Berlin. In Berlin, I'm organizing Flutter Berlin community. So if you're interested in and will be there, please welcome to our events. We always have something interesting who interested in this direction. And is there any chance that anybody heard about EPAM before? Okay, nobody. So EPAM, it's a oh, yeah, one. Okay, so EPAM is a big software engineering company, I would say agency, and we are famous, not everywhere, as I can see, as a company that provides engineering culture. So it's a company organized by engineers, and we have a really nice expertise in all possible directions. Sorry? Ukraine, Belarus, yes, it's initially founded in Belarus, as I remember. Yeah. And let's come back to our topic. We have, I will say, 3 parts in the title. Flutter, Firebase, and explosive combination. Let's go through all of them step by step to explain what I would like to talk about today. Flutter. Do you know who is it? What's the name of this bird? Yeah, this is Dash. Dash is a mascot of Dart language. Dart language is a language which you should use if you do something in Flutter. By the way, Flutter. Please raise your hand. Who knows what Flutter is? Okay. Yeah, me too. Yeah. I am speaker. I should know. Yeah. Okay. The second question. Please raise your hands. Who is a Flutter developer? Nice. Yeah. Five people. Great. So yeah. 6. Yeah. Me too. For other people who didn't try Flutter before, I have a few slides with short explanation. What is this? Flutter is a cross-platform framework or toolkit implemented by Google and created for developing applications for iOS, initially for iOS, Android, using Dart language. What is the difference in comparison with native development? There is a scheme how organized architecture of native developed mobile application. You have platform, like canvas, events, UI components, SDK, everything on platform side. And you have your own native code implemented with I don't know, Swift or Objective-C for iOS, Kotlin or Java for Android. Yeah, and this code interacts with SDK, with native UI components, and you are getting this native mobile application. How Flutter works? There's a different approach. Flutter doesn't use your native UI components. Flutter has own set of widgets that just directly painted on the canvas. And you don't use any native UI components. So if you have like simple application implemented with Flutter and launch it on iOS or Android, it will be absolutely the same. Like almost the same. If you take a look to the back button, for example, there are different guidelines, and on iOS it's like a less sign and the arrow on Android. It will be implemented automatically. But all other things, absolutely the same. So how it works? If we are rendering or painting our UI components ourselves, not using standard, Flutter just have set of widgets that looks like native UI components, but not native UI components. There are the widget catalogs with the material widgets and Cupertino widgets that looks and feels like native components. And you just add it to your application, and your application looks like a native one. But if you would like to have different looking application for iOS and Android, for example, Cupertino style on iOS and material style on Android, you have to separate it themselves. So in this case, it will be different looking. And the last but not least, since 2021, as I remember, so I forgot the year it was announced. So Flutter supports not only iOS and Android, it also supports web and desktop. And not officially, you can use Flutter for developing application for smart TVs. Android TV, Fire TV, Apple TV, WebOS, and Tizen. But in official documentation, there is no such support, but a lot of applications already implemented with Flutter for TV platforms too. OK, the next one, Firebase. This is Sparky. Is a mascot of Firebase. So like Google like such mascots and have a party. So yeah, don't get burnt out, use Firebase. And who knows what Firebase is? Oh, much more than Flutter. And so it means you can tell me what's wrong on this image. No? No? Yes. On Google I/O that happened recently, Firebase changed the logo to a new one. But it was not the first time when Firebase changed the logo. There is a history of Firebase logo. Firebase was created in 2011 when two guys started a product that was created for getting online chats. To inject online chat to your web applications. And under the hood of this chat, there was a cloud database. And then they figured out, realized that people use their database not for chat only, but for safe status or something like that, and organized new startup and named it Firebase, because initially it was only database. Then Google bought them in 2015 and 2014, and it was first rebranding. And now a second rebranding in this year. Now, it's a huge set of different products or tools, services that created for implementation of serverless side for your mobile or web app using this set of services. That every service is independent, but can be integrated with each other. There are a set of services for build products and for run products. So all of them designed to quickly and easily create a serverless backend for your application. Yeah. So backend. I told backend many times. Yeah. Who familiar with the implementation of backend? Yeah, a lot of memes related to backend. Yeah, so front end, backend. Yeah, or this one. Yeah. Or even this one. So I tried to explain what is the difference between traditional backend and serverless with Firebase. So traditional backend, you have client application and that calls HTTP API that connected to your server, and you have on your on-premise service you have like databases or connected cloud services, whatever. So everything you wish. Serverless. You have no kind of you don't need such API on your service. You have Firebase SDK that you connect directly to your application, and this SDK completely responsible for all interaction with backend. You have no backend in classical understanding of this word. You have SDK, and you just work with it. And Firebase take all responsibility for you. And besides this SDK, you have also cloud database, cloud cloud database, cloud storage, whatever. So yeah, I forgot to change the logo. And this SDK already designed for different types of front-end implementation products. There is SDK for native iOS, native Android, native web, Unity, and Flutter, of course. Because from my perspective, Flutter is the best match in this case because Flutter supports many platforms, Firebase supports many platforms, and you have to implement only once, and you have product for many different platforms. And as many platforms do you have, as much resources you save. So yeah, we came to explosive combination. Yeah. Sparky and Dash. So to be honest, I even took that one Dash to to have it as a co-speaker here, and maybe sometimes give microphone to him. But unfortunately, forgot it in my hotel room. So we have only this digital one. Yeah, to have explosive, we have this beautiful image, how do we connect front end with Flutter and back end with Firebase. Okay, what do we usually have from backend side? Yeah, backend. So let's take a simple example of simple application. So usually we do need authentication, storage, database, business logic, and third-party integrations. So we are living in 2024. So integration with AI, for example. Yeah, so AI is everywhere now. So, and if we are talking about Google products, Firebase and Flutter, both of them are Google products. Let's talk about integration with Gemini. Who tried Gemini already? Just to use this tool or to integrate it to your product? As a tool. And what do you think? Do you like more, ChatGPT or Gemini? Yeah, there are a lot of tips and tricks how to use it better. For example, is AI Studio not using this common tool, and you have much more opportunities. If you wish, I can tell you later. But my talk is not related exactly to Gemini, but I also have a lot of information about it. Okay, and how to give example to audience the best way how to achieve the best result. Show an example. So I prepared example with which we are going to work together today. This is a small, simple application with name Movies. It's prepared for for movies. So you have a list of movies with a description of movies, with trailer, and so on. Just that's it. And as you can see on this screenshot, it's a one code base launched on iOS, Android tablet, and web. So its UI is responsive, code base is the same. So let's start with authentication. So I'll just show you how easy it's can be integrated in your app. Firebase has a specific service for authentication with the name, surprise, surprise, authentication, Firebase authentication. So it supports a lot of types of authentication from out of the box. You can use different providers like Google, Apple, Twitter, X should be X now, yeah, Yahoo, and so on. And you can implement authentication using email, mobile phone, or anonymous. So to add authentication to my application, I just added Firebase authentication plugin and added few rows on code, because there is a plugin with implemented authentication screen. Screen out of the box, authentication system out of the box. I need just listen a stream for Firebase with status of authentication of the user, authenticated or not, and user details. Depends on this, show different UI. For example, you see the logo of user on the top. There you can check. I did mention that all code is open source, and you can just look it afterwards and check. Yeah, because if I would add all this code to slides, 1 hour wouldn't be enough. So in many places, I decided to skip code parts, but you always can take a look in my repo and check it. So, but here you see only few rows on code, and you have authentication. Only with Google, but if you would like add something else, it's also small part of implementation. So body, screen, sign-in screen, and you have sign-in screen. Storage. Firebase has a cloud storage for Firebase. To be honest, it's a similar thing as a Google Cloud Storage, but different entrance, I will say, and different SDK. So you can upload your assets, your photos, your videos, and just request them from your application and show. So in my case, in my example, I added there all images, all videos. In my case, it's trailer. And application takes it from Firebase side. Database. With database situation, a little bit more complicated because there are free databases in Firebase. It was started as a database, now there are free. Real-time database, Cloud Firestore, and absolutely new tool, a new product, Data Connect. A real-time database is a database with which Firebase was started in 2011. Cloud Firestore, a little bit more new. Both of them NoSQL databases, but their explanation when it's better to use, which one you should use for which purposes. For example, if you need really low latency, the real-time database is the best solution because it's almost immediately a response. Cloud Firestore a little bit more slow, but much more opportunities to manage your data, to do a request, and so on. So usually, you can use Cloud Firestore if you don't care about very, very fast latency, because capabilities of real-time database is less. So I took Cloud Firestore, and how it works. You even can go to Firebase console, change something, and it will be immediately changed on all devices when your application launched. For example, there is a description of Rick and Morty, and you can see, because everything is very small, but I swear there is a name Rick and Morty. Let's change it to Hello Copenhagen, for example. So just we can go to this row, directly change it, and in your launched application, it will immediately change, because your SDK is listening changes on your database side. If you're offline, of course, it's not listening. But if you're offline, you can do changes locally. It will be stored on your device and sent to backend side immediately when you have connection again. And the third one, the new one, is Data Connect. So before, there were only NoSQL databases, and sometimes NoSQL databases is not really suitable for your purposes. Yeah, I suppose it's not necessary to explain difference between SQL and NoSQL. Yeah, and they just organized connection from Firebase to Cloud SQL, PostgreSQL using GraphQL. So you have GraphQL SDK from out of the box in Firebase to connect your Cloud SQL database now. But it's only limited access because it's really new. But you can request such access and get such a nice badge as a Firebase Data Connect private preview program badge. And try and give feedback. I suppose it will be released completely very soon, but now you can request and use it as a preview program user. Yeah, business logic. Business logic is an interesting thing. So Firebase is a set of different products that work themselves and provide you SDK. So if you would like to manage your data, so SDK gives you opportunity to do it on front-end side. But what if you would like to do it on back-end side? Yeah, how to write your code on back-end using Firebase? So there is an answer, named Cloud Functions. Who worked with Cloud Functions before? Not exactly Firebase Cloud Function. Who knows what is this? I mean, which infrastructure, which vendor, usually? Amazon? Google? OK, let's go. I will just, for people who don't know what is this, I will explain. And I will start from afar from here. Yeah, let's go back to 2026 or 2006. That time nobody knew about what cloud is. Only one online bookstore provided the first service with name AWS and started the era of cloud. So Amazon was first. Then Microsoft, then Google, and a lot of different vendors created own clouds. Yeah, and now only, I don't know, lazy service provider don't have own cloud. And what exactly cloud service means? So if you take a look to Wikipedia page, there will be five five things that tells you that there is cloud service. So service should be on demand, should have broad network access, should have resource pooling, rapid elasticity, and measured service. Pay only what you use. And since 26, cloud services got evolution. Initially, it was the only IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So cloud provider gives you hardware and virtualization, and you install your own operation system, manage it yourself, install yourself runtime application, whatever, and your operation system is scaled itself by cloud provider. The next step of evolution was CaaS, container as a service. So you install your own container, and it's scaled, but operation systems provided by provider. The next step is a product as a service. In this case, even runtime provided by provider, and you only install your application, and application itself scales. And the last, the top of evolution of cloud services is a FaaS, function as a service. So it's a small atomic piece of business logic that you deploy to cloud. And this function can be scaled and do everything like usual cloud services. But this is atomic. You can create your backend from many these cloud functions. And yeah, all vendors have such services, and only with different names. For example, Amazon gave name to their cloud function Lambda. Microsoft named it Azure Functions. Google decided not to be very creative and name cloud functions, just cloud functions. And the main thing of cloud functions that is there is event-driven approach. So how to start execution of your function. There should be a trigger, and this trigger tells the function execute. And for example, in case of Google ecosystem, there are a lot of different types of triggers that can trigger your cloud functions. For example, cloud storage. You uploaded new video to storage, and you have cloud functions that can be triggered when new video will be uploaded. For example, to reduce the size or to check that nothing suspicious in this video. And all services can be connected with cloud functions with triggers. Firestore pops up, cloud tasks, cloud scheduler, and Firebase. And of course, there is a SDK that you can use in cloud functions to connect all Firebase services to. For example, you can be triggered by authentication and do something with the user. Running mobile backend code without managing service. And there is one thing. You can write your cloud functions for Firebase using JavaScript or TypeScript or Python. Only 3 languages. So what if I don't like TypeScript and don't know Python? If I know only Dart or only Kotlin or Java, a lot of nice languages that I would like to use with cloud functions. Why only TypeScript or JavaScript? No, the answer is not only. So cloud functions for Firebase is a part of cloud functions for Google Cloud. And if you go to Google Cloud Console, not Cloud Function Console, you can choose a language with which you will implement your cloud functions. You can even choose a different version of Node, different version of Java, and so on. What about Dart? Dart, don't like that there is no Dart in cloud function Google Cloud support. So, and it will call me soon. There is also an option how to write cloud function using Dart. The service named Cloud Run. Who knows what Cloud Run is? Who worked with it? Yeah, it's an opportunity to launch your own container in Google Cloud. So if you take a look at those schemes that I already presented before, all of them have Google services that works this way. So we know so Cloud Functions is a Cloud Functions. Infrastructure as a service is Cloud Engine. Product as a service is a App Engine. And container as a service is a Cloud Run. So now you can put everything in your container and launch it separately. For example, you can add Event Arc service and Firebase hosting, and you will implement your own service provided cloud functions with any language at all, because you will add runtime to there. So as a last point that we need from Oppenheimer is the third-party integrations. So let's try to integrate AI to the application. It's very easy, to be honest. So as I mentioned, let's concentrate on Gemini, but I connected ChatGPT too. But in my example, there will be Gemini only. So Firebase has specific for 3 specific types of integration with Gemini. If you open it, there is Gemini in Google AI Studio. So there is Gemini in Firebase, Gemini in Vertex AI, and Gemini in GenKit. So first of them is just model that pre-trained with information about Firebase. You can open it in your Firebase console and ask how to do something. So it's not about your integration in your application. It's about integration Gemini to Firebase itself. But yeah, you can use it in console and ask any question related to Firebase. And now it's for free. In future, I suppose it will be changed. It won't be for free, but now still, you can try it. So the second one is Vertex AI. Vertex AI is a Google Cloud service to work with different types of models. Vertex AI for Firebase is an integration of such service to Firebase. So you can connect the service to your application and really easy configure what kind of model do you want to use and so on. For example, I added to my application AI-generated description to any movie. It's also a connection. It's 3 rows of code. I just choose the model that I use from proposed models from cloud and set up configuration. So and added one button to call the question about this movie. And Gemini generated this answer. Really few rows of code. And the last one is GenKit. GenKit is a new product, also announced a couple of months ago. It's this product specifically prepared to play with AI models and Firebase more complicated way. For example, you have your own studio to work with AI. You can launch it locally and try to train your model to check answers and to set up it differently. So it's really launched on local host. And have all capabilities like AI Studio in online. So Firebase has many more services that I didn't mention because I didn't want to talk like few hours here. But yeah, a lot of analytics, Crashlytics, remote config services, so tons of cloud messaging. For example, if you're familiar with mobile development, you probably know that you can't implement push notifications for Android without Firebase. There is only one way to do it. Of course, there are vendors that implemented something on top of Firebase, but under the hood, it's always Firebase because there are no other choice. You can do it for Apple, for iOS, different ways, but for Android, no, only Firebase. So it's only one of tons of service inside. And yeah, probably one of the important questions, money. This is a cloud. Cloud means money, usually. It's pretty nice pricing, especially for people who work with small projects, with indie projects, because there is a free tier with no cost. So you just have a limit. And if you have like 100,000 of users, probably you will have everything for free. But only in case if you get tons of users, probably it will be enough and you will need to move to Blaze plan, pays as you go. But in Blaze plan still you have like some free limits when you don't need to pay if you don't achieve it. But for example, Cloud Functions works only in Blaze plan, so you can't implement Cloud Functions in free plan. But yeah, again, if you have no 100,000 users, it probably will be almost zero or zero. There are details in the Firebase console. You can check it afterwards. There are pricing for all products that Firebase has. So yeah, but for developing, for debugging, you then don't have to use Firebase in cloud. You can set up your Firebase emulator locally, and all services will be launched on your machine, and you can debug and do everything locally. And only when you're sure that everything works fine, you can deploy it to cloud and start to work with users and spend money. So this is a really good solution, not to not to play with cloud when you develop your application. So you just have this emulator console with services that you launched, and so you control it, everything. Yeah, probably that's almost everything that I wanted to say today. And again, yeah, there is really explosive combination. You don't need anything else besides these two products to have your application launched on many, many different platforms. Serverless backend on Firebase and Flutter frontend on the frontend side. And only one code base for everything. So yeah, there are sometimes issues if you would like to have cloud functions in Dart, yeah, but if you know Dart and TypeScript for cloud functions, you don't need to do this magic. So thank you very much for your attention. Looks like we have time for Q&A session if you have questions. There is a QR code probably to my Twitter. I don't exactly remember. Twitter or LinkedIn. Don't hesitate to follow me there. Anyway, LinkedIn also here. And the link to GitHub is the link exactly to repository with this application. There is a not main branch. I can explain why. Because initially this application was created when I played with Flutter on Apple TV. And the main branch related only for Apple TV and TV platforms without backend, because it was not a purpose. And I created branch Firebase support. This branch now don't support Apple TV, but support all other platforms with Firebase. So because now I'm doing investigation how to create Flutter application for Apple TV with Firebase backend. When I finish it, I merge everything, but now it's a separate branch. So now it's definitely that's it. Yeah, we can go to Q&A session now. So if you have no question right now, yeah, you can catch me somewhere else or message me on Twitter or LinkedIn. Thank you very much again, and have a nice day.